Happy Sunday, St. Paul's, and welcome to week 3 of our virtual Sunday school. I am so excited to have you here today. So to start off, I want us to think about where we are in our season. So right now, we are in the season after Pentecost. So this is a time when the church is focusing on living in a community, growing in faith and discipleship. So our parable today, so our story today, this reminds us that the Church of Christ is the generosity there. It encourages the whole community to extend generosity even when we think others don't deserve it. And so this story reveals that the kingdom of God operates according to God's notions of fairness and grace and generosity, and not our notions of those things. So I want you to settle in, find a comfy spot, and I'll meet you there for our story. So I hope you found a comfy spot in your home. So we are going to read our story. So our story today is called The First and Last in the Vineyard. So it's called All in a Day's Work. And it's from Matthew chapter 20, verses 1 through 16. The early morning sun was shining on a vineyard full of plump, juicy grapes. The vineyard owner saw that the grapes were ripe and ready to be picked. At 9 o'clock, he hired hardworking men to pick the grapes. The workers picked and picked, but still there were more grapes. At 12 o'clock, the vineyard owner hired more workers. They picked and picked, but still there were more grapes. At 3 o'clock and at 5 o'clock, the vineyard owner hired even more workers. They picked and they picked and they picked. And finally, there were no more grapes. The sun set, and it was time to pay all of the workers. The vineyard owner paid the workers who started at 5 o'clock first, and he paid the workers who started at 9 o'clock last. He even paid all of the workers the same amount. The early morning workers grumbled, "What? We aren't worked all day long. We picked the most grapes. No fair. Why are the afternoon workers paid the same?" The vineyard owner replied, "I paid you what I promised you. Can't I give away what is mine any way I want?" Jesus wanted to teach people about God's kingdom. Like the vineyard owner who surprised everyone by giving the last the same as the first, Jesus said, God is more generous than anyone can imagine. So I want you guys to think on that story while you're doing your craft, and I will see you soon for our questions. Bye. Hi, 5th and 6th grade. I hope you enjoyed writing in your book today and thinking about generosity and how we can be more generous people on a regular basis. Now, I want you to think about our questions for today. So our story is about the first and the last in the vineyard. And so how do you think the landowner demonstrated generosity to the workers? Why were some of the workers upset about their payment? And then what do you think this parable is saying to you about God's generosity? And generosity isn't always fair. So when have you seen something like that play out in your life? I want you to think on those questions. Hi, 5th and 6th grade. Welcome back to Bible Bit. So one of the things that today's story was, it was a parable, and it's one of my favorite things in the Bible, parables. And there's 11 of them in Matthew when Jesus talks about the kingdom of heaven. And most of them are found in chapter 13. So I want you to spend some time, and I want you to look up some of the parables and find your favorite one. Well, St. Paul's, I hope you had a wonderful virtual Sunday school. Mr. Leo and I are so grateful that we're still able to meet with you all, even though we're not in person. So I hope you have a great week. And next week we will be meeting virtually to show your crafts and all of the fun different things that you may have and questions. So I will see you there. Bye.